Right now, we are seeing the clearest signs yet that the United States and China and Russia are headed for a hot war. Three huge pieces of news that are, frankly, scary as hell, that are being done in relative secrecy, and we should all be paying attention to. We'll get into these news items in a moment, but first, here's Forbes magazine. This week, is the U.S. headed for an all-out war with China? And they're asking this question because we are at a tipping point moment, and some very dangerous things are unfolding. And by the way, make no mistake about it, a war with China and Russia would be an absolute catastrophe, because at worst, it would end humanity with a nuclear war, and at best, it would send us back into the dark ages. No electrical grids, no internet, no functioning satellites, basically. And these morons in Washington, D.C. seemed hell-bent on making this happen. Back in January, something happened that got almost no media attention. It was done quietly, in Japan even. The Japanese government started paying fishermen to stay away from one particular small island that was close to China. Here's what happened.
Japan's defense ministry began construction of a new base on Mageshima, an island in southwestern Japan, on January 12. Ministry staff and construction workers took a boat to the uninhabited island. The base will also be used by the U.S. military for training.
Oh, the U.S. is coming. According to the Japan Times, the U.S. just took a huge leap closer to China's doorstep. Instead of doing military drills 1,000 miles away on that other island, now they can do them straight up China's ass without having to use mid-air refueling to do it. That was 9 months ago. Then, as we reported this week, the Biden administration is laying the groundwork for bringing back the military draft for young men in the United States. That's right. This is not a fantasy. According to the documents from the U.S. Army War College's plan, they predict that the United States will lose 3,600 soldiers per day in casualties when we start fighting China and Russia. And they say we need the draft now because we won't be able to replace those kinds of numbers without it. Taking 3,600 people per day and throwing them into the meat grinder. They admit this, right in black and white, right in their documents. And members of Congress are calling for it. Everything that we're seeing over the past few weeks is coming to a boiling point. It all started in earnest, though, over 10 years ago, during the Obama administration, in an effort to strangle China. Of course, it goes back much longer than that.
We can see that China is the basic cause of all of our troubles in Asia.
But it really ramped up under Obama in 2015, when it was clear that China would become America's biggest economic and strategic threat. When China announced its Belt and Road Initiative, its partnership with the Middle East, with the rest of Asia, to build roads and bridges and trade, Obama then went into high gear. Journalist John Pilger even predicted it and documented it in his amazing documentary, The Coming War on China, where he shows how America's goal is to cut off China's lifeline to oil, gas, and raw materials, strangling China economically.
Let's read out of the book of Obadiah. I think I'm on verse 1 and 15. Just give me a minute. Let's read Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15. And it reads, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head." Giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, Ruha Rukakwadash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. Okay, while everyone's worried about NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, okay, FIFA, NHL, and all manner of confusion Babylon the Great pushes, America's quietly entering into this final bout that's going to lead to its destruction. Okay. That was the Morrisons from Redacted. That was a short audio. Okay, well, you have to watch that full clip for yourself. But there's no way there's a future for the United States of America going forward while the elite is quietly, okay, they're trying to stage a nuclear war so they can rebuild. I brought this out, and I'm gonna bring this out again. They're trying to set up this decree so they can destroy and rebuild, okay? But the Most High is going to get between that. Let's get that account in Joel 3. I'm always resurface these key precepts because we're entering into this time of judgment and deliverance, if it be the Most High. Okay? Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. It reads, "For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem," that's going into the deliverance, okay, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Okay, the scattering, that was roughly 70 AD. Okay, we do the history, 70 AD. The majority of the Israelites went into Africa, which is the Valley of Ham. Now you had some Israelites went to Europe, okay, but the bulk of the Israelites went to Africa. You had this area in Africa called Negro Land, where the tribes dwelt. Okay, they dwelt really throughout Africa, all the way into the west coast, Niger, or some say Nigger, Nigeria, the west coast of Africa, for you know, for how do you say it? For historic sakes, they dwelt, okay. When you do that history, they dwelt throughout all Africa. Okay. But then this happened. Joel 3 and 3, it reads, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink." Okay. Because the Africans, the Hamites, they sold Israel. When you go into, let's read verse 4. Joel 3 and 4, it reads, "Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?" Tyre and Zidon are Hamitic nations. Those are Hamitic descendants of Ham. Okay, the Negroes aren't Africans. The Negroes are set apart from Africans. Africans are Hamitic. Negroes come out of Shem. Okay. And there's the Exodus 4, 5, 6, and 7 account. And there's Exodus 11 and 7. The Messiah put a difference between Israel and the Egyptians. Okay. I'm gonna read Joel 3 and 4 straight through. It reads, "Yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?" Because it was the Hamitic nations that worked with the Grecians. Let's get that in Psalms That's Psalms 81. A little brief history. Right? Because now we're just coming into the end. And remember, you have this BRICS buildup. You have all these military coups throughout Africa pushing out these elites. They're pushing out France. They're pushing out the Americas. So you have World War III. It's here. We're seeing it with the Ukraine-Russia conflict, but it's definitely about to escalate to something way more severe. And hopefully it's going to bring our exodus out of America. Okay? I think I want Psalms 83. Here it is. Psalms 83 in verse... I want... Actually, when you read Psalms 83 verses 1 through, I'd say 7, it go into the nations, but you have a list of Hamitic nations in there. Okay, I believe the Hagarenes is one of them listed. Okay, the Philistines, those are Hamites. The Midianites, I think those are Hamites. Well, they give you the list of all the Hamitic nations that worked with Edom. Okay, we're gonna read verse 5. It reads, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. Case in point, verse 6, it says the tabernacles of Edom, okay, and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes. Okay, when you read verse 7, it reads Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the small hatters, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. There it is. But there are a list of other nations as you read down. All the nations had their hands in the fall of Israel till this very day. Okay, with your post-UN summits, your G20s, all that stuff. Everything is a plot to keep the real people asleep. But as we can see, just based on that audio, something real serious is about to play out. Okay, that's why I would say that build-up has to continue. Okay, that build-up has to play out. Right? Let's go back to Obadiah. Not gonna keep y'all. We're gonna go up to Obadiah 1 and verse 3. It reads, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay, dealing with these racism, white supremacists. Okay, we know their history, chiefly dealing with 70 AD, all the way to the times of Columbus, when he brought in that entourage that basically built up America. Okay, and their paganism. We coming into October, so they're about to celebrate Satan on all levels you could imagine. You have Thanksgiving, you have the Christmas garbage, okay? Because there's no scriptures that teach Christ was born December 25th, okay? You're not going to find it. Only thing they did was teach fables to keep God's chosen asleep. Then you have the two parts wicked Hebrew Israelites that follow suit. But again, back to that audio, it's not long now. That's why it's urgent to keep these commandments, and for these wicked Negroes in the world and in Israel, painfully, doomsday gonna creep up and this place gonna get dealt with. Okay, let's read that again. Obadiah 1 and verse 3, it reads, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay. And it's going to be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that destroy these wicked elites, that wicked seed of Edom, and the wicked two parts of our people. Let's get Isaiah 14. I won't keep y'all. Isaiah 14 and 20. It reads, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. That's Genesis 27 to up to like 37, 39, 40, somewhere around there, when, you know, he said he would go into, how do you say, killing Jacob without end. I'm miscuing it, but he would Edom would pursue Jacob without end. And we living in these days. Okay. From the top, Isaiah 14:20, it reads, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Okay, and the evildoer, that seed of evildoers, is dealing with that wicked, that, how do you say, the wicked, chiefly Edom, but it's Edom that look like all nations too. Okay, so that's the times we're coming into. Let's read the next verse. Those are the times we have entered now. They're talking a draft, so you know this thing's about to come down completely. Okay. Isaiah 14 and 20, and it reads, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Okay. So America, time to rule is basically up. Their hegemony to dominate the world has been shut down by the BRICS. And great destruction is going to follow. We're going to go up to verse 1. The judgment that's going to play out as well. Isaiah 14:1, and it reads, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay, so the elites gonna be made captives. Okay, the ones that remain post nuclear destruction, and a lot of them gonna be, I just say, the Edomites from Europe, where most of the war bunkers are, Spain and whatnot. A lot of war bunkers out there. America don't have war bunkers. That's how this place is going to get roasted away when this decree play out. Okay, America's going to get it in 1 hour. Revelations, the 18th chapter. Okay. Let's see if there's any more. Isaiah 14. Actually, I want Isaiah 45. We're going to end it here. For Hammy. Okay. The Most High not dealing with Hamites. And for their iniquities and their hatred against Israel, they got to pay the price as well. Okay. Isaiah 45 and 14, it reads, thus said the Lord, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabines, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over and shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there is none else. There is no God. Okay. So the Hamites gonna be made captives. Okay. And the Most High is gonna cut down all these heathen nations in this day. Let's get one more. Revelations 13 and 10. Last one. He that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the fate of the saints. And with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. Shalom.